So let's dive into something that's, well, it's a fascinating and honestly a potentially dangerous trend, the way we've started to romanticize loneliness. We're going to unpack why being a lone wolf has suddenly become this new ideal and what that might actually be costing us. You've heard this a million times, right? Maybe you've even said it yourself. This line, and others just like it, has become a kind of modern mantra. It's pitched as the ultimate sign of emotional strength, like you've declared your independence from the messy world of human connection. But what if it's not that simple? And that really gets to the heart of the question we're exploring here. Is this kind of radical independence a true sign of strength, of evolution? Or could it actually be a symptom of something much deeper? A fear of getting hurt, just disguised as wisdom? Yeah, we're going to peel back the layers on this one. Okay, so first up, the myth of independence. Let's talk about how this whole idea got so popular in the first place. There's this really powerful story being told everywhere, from social media to self-help books, that suggests needing no one is basically the peak of personal growth. Think about it. Our culture today just loves to praise the person who seems completely self-contained. You know, the one who pulls away, closes off, and looks like they need absolutely nobody for their own happiness. Solitude isn't just a state of being anymore, it's been turned into this celebrated virtue. And of course, this whole myth comes with its own slogans. You hear things like, "I'm not attached to anyone," which is framed as being in control, or "cutting ties is maturity," which makes leaving people behind sound like some kind of enlightened progress. These are basically the taglines for total independence. But what's really going on underneath all of this celebrated solitude? This next part is all about exploring the idea that maybe it's less about a choice and more about a deep, deep need for protection. You know, for so many people, this isn't some grand philosophical decision. It's a defense mechanism. It's a reaction that's born from being disappointed, being rejected, from past traumas. And the logic behind it is painfully simple. If you don't let anyone in, no one can ever hurt you again. And this is how it happens. It's subtle and it's dangerous. It starts with what feels like peace, right? A relief from all the drama and disappointment. But then, slowly, as you pull back, the world starts to fade. Life just loses its color. And that wall you built to protect yourself, it starts to feel more like a prison. Until finally, you realize you're trapped. You can't get out, and nobody else can get in. And that's the core paradox, isn't it? The very thing you built to keep yourself safe is what ends up trapping you. The fortress that was supposed to protect you from the world, it ultimately just cuts you off from everything that makes life worth living. So you have to wonder, how does this modern idea hold up against, timeless wisdom? Philosophers have been thinking about solitude for centuries, and what they had to say offers a really powerful contrast to what we're hearing today. Take a philosopher like Nietzsche. For him, solitude was a tool. It was like a workshop. It was a temporary place you went to forge your own values, to create something new, and then you'd return to the world. It was a means to an end. But the modern myth, it treats solitude as the end itself, a permanent fortress to go hide in. Then you've got Aristotle, who took an even stronger position. He basically argued that we are, at our core, social creatures. For him, a good life wasn't just about existing, it was about flourishing. And he believed that flourishing could only happen through our relationships and our role within a community. I mean, that is such a powerful statement. For Aristotle, to be completely isolated from others is to be something other than human. It's an unnatural state. A person who can live in total isolation isn't an evolved human. There's something else entirely, either below us, like a beast, or above us, like a god, but not one of us. And it makes total sense when you think about it. Our most important virtues, they can't even exist in a vacuum. How can you be courageous if there's no one to protect? How can you be just if there's no one to treat fairly? Our character isn't built when we're alone. It's forged in the fire of our relationships with other people. Okay, so if total radical independence isn't the real goal, then what is? This final section is all about reframing this whole conversation and proposing a totally different definition of what it means to be truly strong. Real emotional maturity isn't about standing on a mountain and yelling that you don't need anyone. It's about looking at the world, acknowledging that connection is risky, that you might get hurt, and then having the courage to be vulnerable and form those bonds anyway. That is true strength.
So we have to make a really important distinction here. Is your solitude a remedy, or has it become your house? See, healthy solitude is a place you visit. You go there to heal, to reflect, to recharge, and it prepares you to go back out into the world. But harmful isolation, that's a permanent address. It's a state of withdrawal that's designed to stop you from ever going back. So let's just call it what it is. When we romanticize loneliness, a lot of the time, we're just dressing up our fear in a costume of strength. Refusing to risk loving again, refusing to risk trusting someone new, that's not wisdom. That's surrendering to the fear of feeling pain. And this right here, this gets to the very heart of it. We've been sold a complete myth. Real human growth doesn't happen when we wall ourselves off. It happens when we find the courage to be vulnerable, to surrender to connection, and to risk love. That is where real evolution happens. So I'll leave you with a final question, one to really think about for yourself. Take a look at the role that solitude plays in your own life. Is it a bridge that's helping you heal and get ready to connect with the world again? Or has it become a wall, keeping life and your own growth out?